And right about now, we have Miracle Amarachi Ewim. She is a personal development professional, and we'll be doing justice to the topic, taking a step towards volunteering. How are you doing this morning? Good morning.
I'm very well. Thank you very much for having me.
It's good to have you.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
What are the specific steps you should take note of before venturing into volunteering? Because a lot of people want to volunteer in certain areas and they do not even know what to do and what step to take into, venturing into that path.
Okay, first of all, I would like to define who a volunteer is.
Yes.
Because if we actually do not know what you're talking about, we could actually misplace things. So I think a volunteer is a person that actually gives or offers his skill, time, energy, resources towards a worthy cause. So, for example, I'm passionate about personal development. Me offering my skill, my talent, whatever it is I have towards that cause makes me a volunteer without getting paid. You're doing it free.
Free of charge.
Exactly. So now, the steps towards volunteering. I have a lot of persons say, I want to volunteer and I really do not know how to go about it. First off, I ask them, what do you want to do? What are you passionate about? Because there are a lot of things to do. The opportunity is now here and there, as against before. Volunteering opportunities are now everywhere. So if actually you don't know where you're headed, you misplace things.
You would agree with me that some 5, 6, 7, 10 years before now, the word volunteering in Nigeria seemed very strange. What do you think caused a shift that made people start thinking, let's just volunteer?
Okay, the very important thing is when you come out of school, just like we all know, and you want to apply for a job as a fresh graduate, they're asking you for 2 years of experience. It's very rampant. It's everywhere. So how do I, as a fresh graduate, get 2 years of experience? I think that was actually the first course towards volunteering. People now discover that to be employable, I needed to have experience. And nobody would want to pay a student. Do you get?
Yes.
So for me to actually get those kind of experience, I have to be able to do it for free. That's where the word volunteering came in, to actually build some quality level of experience. Then Nigerians now sort of became passionate. I discovered that there are a lot of problems in the society. People are saying the health sector is not working, this is not working, that is not working. How do I give my own bit in the society? What do I do to actually cause that change? I think that's what volunteering is all about, and that's how it came into the blue light.
I think we need to also classify what counts as volunteering.
Volunteering, yes.
I could say that I volunteered to sit in my mom's shop and help her sell stuff when I was done with school while waiting for, JAM result and all of that. I could say that was my volunteering skill. I put it there, sales manager or sales rep or something. And it won't have to do with solving any societal problems. Meanwhile, some other person will say, I volunteered at a cancer research center and this and that. And then when we put the experiences to bear and put it side by side, I can say, wait, my own volunteer got me sales job. So how can we classify what volunteering is? What counts as volunteering? What doesn't count?
All right. Thank you very much. Well, what counts as volunteering for me is the cause. Okay. You sitting down in your mom's shop, you're performing family duties. Do you get?
That hurts.
But it's true.
But that's the truth. Like, I've had times where I had to travel so far to worthy causes where I wasn't paid for. So what exactly are you going there to do? And trust me, any volunteering job you're doing that is not creating a positive impact to a problem in Nigeria, you're actually not volunteering. It must be towards a worthy cause that meets a societal need.
Now, how do you check who actually comes to volunteer? Because I know there are cases of people... now, I think there's a volunteering course where they actually specify who can... Maybe for children, I don't want to call the name of the organization, trying to be careful. For children, and they specify that, you have to... Must you be married to volunteer for that kind of course when it comes to children? Or is there like a specification? Yes.
Okay, so I run like a charity organization, and what we do is visit less privileged, go towards charity homes and all these destitute homes. So for my volunteers, we have like a checklist.
Okay.
In as much as you're passionate, and just like I said, there are a lot of niches. What is that? How do what I'm going to volunteer for match with what I would want to do? So
Okay.
that's where the sieving process comes in. So it must be in line with what you want to do. For example, if you're volunteering for a health organization, you have to have a background knowledge of health.
Yeah.
Health.
So if you're volunteering for a tech firm, you have to have a background knowledge of tech. So what exactly you want for yourself and the skill you have in place would actually determine where you perfectly fit in.
Okay. But are there disadvantages though into people volunteering? Because I know that a lot of times you want to go extra mile for you to help contribute to the progress of the society, but you realize that when you venture in that path, it might not favor you. As much as you're not making money from it, it won't favor you as a person. So are there disadvantages as to volunteering?
Well, I wouldn't call it disadvantage. I'll call it challenges.
Okay, maybe challenges.
Yeah. So when it comes to volunteering, there are a lot of challenges. Because most times you put your resource, your time, your energy, your hard-earned money, you do a lot of stuff. And maybe the person organizing the charity event doesn't actually see that part. There's this sense of fulfillment that comes when somebody says, thank you for doing this. But there's times in volunteering when you do all this and nobody says,
Thank you.
It really hurts. I've been there. But then it now takes you to your why. Why exactly am I doing this? What is my motive? Because I had a bad experience today doesn't mean I'll quit. So I usually tell volunteers to look beyond the situation. See that societal impact, see that change you're trying to bet. Let it be the reason you actually do what you do.
Would you advocate for a more controlled system where government policies would ensure that there is that thing, not NYSC now, there is that thing called community service? That is a function of, you bring to bear your wealth of experience as a doctor, as a nurse, you bring to bear your wealth of experience as this, as that,
even as
just
students.
to ensure that we have a better
I think that is actually what we all are advocating for.
Okay.
Let there be a system in the government that actually supports this. Because most often than not, it's actually private sectors that do this, NGOs. If there was would I call it a community service sector in Nigeria that actually supports people actually giving out their skills just for free. Like a lot of Nigerians, I've discovered over time that Nigerians are not actually terrible people. They are actually willing to actually give out something for free. But there's no structured platform.
What is the economic value of volunteering? What is the economic value?
As a personal development expert, I will tell you that...
Sorry, before you take that, just take this along. What also aids funding for volunteers?
Okay. Now, the economic value of volunteering is it actually helps in personal development. I usually tell people that volunteering is the cheapest way to learn. So rather than complain about me not having a job, that I'm trying to apply and stuff, there are a lot of opportunities where people volunteer for organizations and they actually got
jobs there.
Okay.
So that's one of the economic values of volunteering. Secondly, it gives you, to me, I don't actually do it for all those stuff. I volunteer for the sense of fulfillment I get.
Okay.
It gives you this sense of fulfillment that, yes, I'm actually adding my own bit to the society. We all cannot be complaining, I mean. Some people must actually be taking steps. Some persons will actually be doing stuff. So it actually gives you that opportunity to actually make a change in the country. Then back to your question, the funding. Yeah, there's an aspect of volunteering we call the fundraisers. And there are courses online you can take about that. Because most of these courses, these events, in as much as it's towards the good of the society, the government doesn't actually support. So most often than not, people fund themselves. So through crowdfunding, that's one of the ways volunteers raise money. Crowdfunding, sourcing for funds from different people, seeking partnership from private organizations, because government firms really do not support things like this. That's why we're appealing that they take this thing really seriously.
But there are some international grants. Volunteers and NGOs get. What happens in the disbursement of such funds?
The disbursement of such funds for international grants, you have to meet a criteria For startups, it's usually very, very difficult. But then if you've been in the game for a while, you have like a proof. It's just like you wanting to lease out your money. You must know why, to what cost you're leasing out the money.
As she was talking, it just occurred to me that there are some people who would really want to volunteer.
Yes.
But the major concern is, how secure will I be? What guarantees my safety?
Yes.
How am I so sure that I won't go on a campaign one day and they will just stone me to death?
Be sure of the organization you're volunteering for.
Okay.
In as much as the opportunity is here and there, be sure of what you're volunteering for. Does the organization have preps? Does the organization have plans to your safety? Does the organization actually have a structure? For example, if you're volunteering for delicate cases, like she said, like political advocacy and stuff, it could be very tricky.
Or war-torn areas.
Exactly. Maybe you're going towards the Boko Haram area to maybe secure interventions for them and stuff like that. You must be very
Ready for
careful.
it.
Please, you first. I usually tell volunteers.
You first.
Yeah. So if my safety is not guaranteed, I have to be safe to help another person. If I'm not safe, how do I help someone else?
So we have Mr. David Ayinde. He's program coordinator for Hope Foundation, which means he does a lot of volunteering.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Very quickly, why is it necessary for corporate organizations to go into volunteering?
As it is, we know over time a lot of issues, a lot of situations have come about where the need for people to come put in their time, their efforts, generally their resources in order to help out. And we know at times as this is very essential, most especially with natural disasters, most especially with the environmental hazards and all of that and all of that. That being said, it's very important that every organization, every establishment, which already there's an established status that every community, every organization needs to have a community corporate society in order to reach out to their immediate environment. So it is very vital that every organization puts in that time, puts in that effort in order to help out the society, in order to help out even indirectly their customers, and in order to help out themselves at the long run.
Now, as an organization, you are getting involved in corporate social responsibility, which means that in a way, people would get to know about your brand and what you do. Isn't that indirectly still making profits? So would you refer, would you say CSR is also the same thing as volunteering?
CSR is a platform in which communities, companies, for example, come in to reach out. It's essential for every organization to have this. Aside the NGOs, aside the non-profits, sometimes communities or companies, collaborate with non-profits in order to reach out. This being said, when a company engages with a non-profit or an NGO, giving them funding to reach out to the community, or they do it themselves, maybe they have the human resource department organize outreaches to the community, they're spending a lot of money in doing this. First of all, individuals are giving in their time, giving in their efforts, their resources. So I wouldn't say they're making profit. Even if they get to give out their products or services, yes, we say they're going to be well known. A lot of people will hear of them. The brand visibility will be sure, this and that. They're spending a lot. They're giving out. So I won't call that profit. Maybe we say they gain goodwill. Oh, we've done X amount of things to the community. Oh, X amount of, or X company is a good company. I think I can be emotionally attached to them or committed to buying their product. So we can't say they make profit. We're only saying, maybe we say they gain goodwill. It's the same thing as volunteering. Nobody gets paid volunteering, even if there are incentives that they give out to people to help or whatsoever. But nobody gets paid. So it's the same thing for these corporate organizations. They're not making profits. They're just giving out, yes, getting goodwill, and that's all.
I might disagree with you a little bit, Mr. Ayinde. How about situations where for every corporate social responsibility that any company engages in, there is a certain level, the certain percent of tax cut that they get. And so instead of paying maybe the entire 100% of their tax tax accruable to them. They probably just pay a certain percent.
amount.
Is that not profit for the company?
Still, yes, I still stand on that point that they don't make profit. Okay, for example, I studied accounting, and if I'm looking at the accounting books, there are some places where we say corporate social responsibility or community impact or something.
Okay.
It can be a head, a sub-head that can be kept in the expenditure of the company.
Okay.
That is not liable to taxation because indirectly the company is spending a lot and not getting anything back.
Okay.
That's the first establishment. That is not indirectly or directly saying they are making profit or not, because why not? They are giving out. They've done a lot. They've spent this. They've spent that. And remember, we said it's part of policy. It's a subhead in the company's expenditure that shouldn't be taxed. I'm sure if you have an idea of a number of items that are on the company's expenditure list that cannot be taxed.
Yes.
Yes. So there are opportunities like that in which they can go out. First of all, they're giving out to the community. Sometimes reports are being shared. Sometimes they say, we see this and we see that. So indirectly, it is a measure in which some companies, yes, they want to give out. So they go and they spend. They go and they carry on projects, community-related impacts, and all of that stuff, which will not be taxed. So it still doesn't relate it to profit.
To enjoy more interesting episodes of Tea or Coffee, then like and subscribe.